The kill zone of Moipi's city erupted in chaos as the massive spectral beast unleashed its icy breath. Defenders scattered in terror, frozen in fear as the ice spread, forcing them into a desperate, panicked retreat. This sudden surge of undead was the catastrophic result of White Knight, the lone player who crossed the national border. Even Zituan, the guild master, could only stare, confirming this was the terrifying strength of the Divine Dragon Empire's strongest player. The city defenses crumbled under the bombardment, unbelievable destruction wrought by a single individual. The sheer scale of the summoned creature confirmed the identity of the terrifying necromancer White Knight. The dark figure stood revealed, a terrifying monster whose cold gaze promised absolute annihilation. Seated high upon his spectral mount, the Dark Commander issued his chilling decree, "Go, my legion." The necromancer gripped the glowing artifact, demanding that it absorb even more raw power for his ascension. Even with this legion of spectral flames, the destroyer knew the new life granted by the Myriad Worlds game demanded far greater strength. The necromancer's ambition is fueled by the memory of his former self, who survived death with only one health point. The narrative shifts, rewinding several months to the Blue Star location. A pair of hands wrapped in bandages began to disconnect the life support, issuing a cold warning to Mu Bai. The dark figure recognized the voice of the perpetrator. Was this Liu Ruyan? The victim, still alive and masked, desperately questioned why the equipment was being unplugged. The woman, his supposed fiancée, stood over the bed, claiming her actions were justified. Liu Ruyan coldly insisted that he was already as good as dead, and this was for his own good. Su Mubai, the former Blue Star gamer, felt his consciousness trapped within a paralyzed body, unable to move. The door burst open as a new figure entered, demanding Ruyan stop hesitating. This was Zhao Su, Su Mubai's classmate, who accused her of falling in love with the dying man. The classmate, Zhao Su, gleefully revealed the billion-dollar legacy was the true prize of this betrayal. The betrayers confirmed their plot, admitting Ruyan was sent to the future necromancer 5 years ago, all for this moment. The former gamer felt his life force draining, but his will screamed defiance against the inevitable death. With a final, cruel shout, Zhao Su reached out to disconnect the life support. Even in this final moment, the fiancé showed impatience, urging Zhao Su to move them before they celebrated their deed. Laughing, the couple carried their celebration away, leaving the future White Knight utterly alone. The overwhelming sense of betrayal fueled a dark, nascent rage in the paralyzed body of the necromancer. His heartbeat spiked on the monitor, a testament to the sheer willpower refusing to be resigned to this fate. The cable dropped and the dying man faced the terrifying question, was this truly the end? Just as the former gamer accepted his death, the outside world erupted in chaos as a mysterious glowing door appeared in the sky. The mysterious door solidified, announcing the start of the Myriad Worlds game for all of Blue Star. Mass transmigration was set to begin in 30 seconds, promising a brand new life starting from zero. Across the planet, people excitedly accepted the game data now stored within their minds. Meanwhile, the celebrating betrayers, Zhao Su and Liu Ruyan, realized their stolen fortune was now worthless. Zhao Su scoffed, certain that the dying Su Mubai was too crippled to survive the transition, let alone enter the game. As the countdown ended, the couple was instantly engulfed by the light, commencing their forced teleportation. Back in the hospital room, the former gamer recognized this sudden reincarnation as a chance given by heaven itself. Tears of rage and resolve streamed down his face. He would not let his second chance slip away. Surrounded by the blinding purple energy, the dying man screamed his final, absolute refusal. I cannot die. With that surge of pure willpower, the teleportation beam consumed the entire city, pulling the future necromancer into the Myriad Worlds. Across the city, the sudden reality of the crossing struck the unprepared population. While many screamed in terror, desperate to return home, their pleas were ignored. Yet others, seeking escape, cheered the violent beginning of their new existence. The dying gamer found himself suspended in the void, landing upon the Descender's temple. The former cripple felt the unbelievable sensation of solid ground and a body that could move. A blue light enveloped the reborn man as the system confirmed his identity and began a body data scan. Casting aside his old identity, Su Mubai chose the name White Knight, ready to claim his power. Every player descending into the Myriad Worlds game would automatically awaken a talent, graded from F to the highest SSS rank. The future necromancer's absolute refusal to die was rewarded with the awakening of the S-rank forbidden talent, promotion. This talent, capable of permanently promoting any object or skill, was the foundation upon which the strongest player in the Divine Dragon Empire would be built. The system immediately prompted the player to select his class amidst a torrent of golden light. Considering his new S-rank talent, the Descender wondered if he should choose the path of warrior or mage. But the system abruptly intervened, detecting that his initial attributes did not meet the requirements for most classes. Based on his unique state of being, the only available option was the dark path of the Necromancer. Though frustrated by the lack of choice, the class selection was instantly successful. A blinding flash confirmed the transformation and the acceptance of his new identity. The future strongest player quickly accepted his fate, realizing the Necromancer path was not bad at all. However, checking his initial stats revealed a horrifying flaw. His health points were permanently stuck at 1. The price for his miraculous resurrection was absolute fragility and a remaining lifespan of only 1 year. With no retreat possible, Sumubai resolved to use his S-rank talent to gamble everything on this single, fragile. Sumubai questioned the system, demanding to know why his S-rank talent was not fully active. The player immediately demanded a cataclysm promotion for his class, risking an impossible cost of 100,000 years of life. Without hesitation, the desperate man slammed the confirmation, accepting the one-time catastrophic boon. The system confirmed his ascension to the exclusive hidden class, Death Sovereign, granting him immense power and a sinister new look. With the Myriad Worlds game countdown beginning, White Knight realized he had wasted precious seconds and needed to move. But even in the final moments, the Death Sovereign saw the faces of Liu Ruyan and Zhao Su, fueling his absolute resolve for revenge. As the world warped, the system explained the brutal death penalties, loss of levels and lifespan, a rule that did not yet apply in the Novice Village. He arrived in the Divine Dragon Empire's Novice Village 9527, surrounded by the chaos of newly transmigration players. The Necromancer stood apart, acknowledging the reality of the game and vowing that this time he would truly rise. Ignoring the desperate calls of other players seeking groups, White Knight focused only on testing the effects of his newly acquired skills. The Death Sovereign began his mastery, manifesting his first spectral warrior with the basic skill, Summon Small Skeleton. Alongside the summon, White Knight gained Scorch, an F-rank attack that unleashed pure soul fire. The Necromancer evaluated his starting arsenal, 2 foundational F-rank skills, one for summoning and one for direct attack. Crucially, the A-rank lifelink allowed the player to share HP with his undead, bypassing his own fatal 1 HP limit. This was paired with the terrifying S-rank passive, Summon Amplification, which instantly boosted all creature attributes by 500%. The Death Sovereign now understood the solution to his curse. He would fight through his legions, not his own fragile body. Before he could continue testing, a powerful, glowing artifact spontaneously materialized in his hand. This was the Book of Death, a class-exclusive item containing the laws and exclusive skills of the Death Sovereign. Acknowledging the book was locked until level 10, White Knight focused on the immediate task of gaining power. The Necromancer wasted no time, immediately summoning 2 spectral warriors to commence his brutal ascent out of the Novice Village. The Death Sovereign's Cataclysm trait immediately triggered, doubling his initial summon count. This meant all his own skill effects were permanently doubled, though other powerful effects remained locked by level. Observing the 2 spectral warriors, the former gamer noted their appearance still seemed underwhelming. Before he could move, a fellow novice approached, eager to team up based on White Knight's summoning ability. The Necromancer firmly rejected the offer, preferring the solitude necessary for his brutal ascent. Walking away, the novice sneered, suggesting the summoner probably couldn't even kill a basic free-range chicken. Ironically, the other players were already struggling violently against the level 1 mobs, complaining about the chicken's high attack power. This level 1 free-range chicken, the most basic mob, boasted a surprisingly high attack stat of 10. Nearby players, however, were distracted, noting that White Knight's 2 summoned skeletons looked incredibly powerful. The Death Sovereign, refusing to casually kill a chicken with his op class skill, simply walked past the struggling players. The struggling novice, still focused on the simple mobs, scanned the dense tree line. Suddenly, the woods erupted as several dark, fast creatures charged, forcing his 2 summoned skeletons into immediate defense. These were level 2 red-eyed rabbits, far more dangerous than the chickens, boasting an attack of 15. Despite the danger, the novice's spectral defenders struck hard, dealing consistent damage to the aggressive beasts. Meanwhile, the Death Sovereign White Knight appeared nearby, deciding this was the perfect time to test his legion's true firepower. Blue energy surged violently around the former gamer as he activated his enhanced summoning skills. The newly reinforced spectral warriors immediately went to work, delivering devastating blows to the level 2 threat. The rabbit fell, granting White Knight a valuable level gap bonus and confirming the efficiency of his unique class. Checking his status, the Necromancer confirmed that his Cataclysm trait had doubled his A-rank lifelink, binding his 1 HP to 2 separate undead reserves. Satisfied, the strongest player of the Divine Dragon Empire limited his visible forces to 4 skeletons and continued his solitary, brutal ascent. Meanwhile, a nearby player witnessed the sheer power of the Necromancer's Spectral Legion in action. Other novices quickly realized the dark figure's strength, estimating his rank at the absolute forefront of their novice village. Ding, the system confirmed his rapid ascent, granting the Necromancer his first level and 15 free attribute points. The Death Sovereign reviewed his stats, strategically allocating points primarily to Spirit to maximize his legion's attributes. Driven by the power of his S-rank forbidden talent, the Necromancer decided to promote his foundational skills immediately. The promotion succeeded, instantly upgrading his core skills including lifelink to S-rank and SS-rank tiers. With the new SS-rank life sharing, his doubled lifelink now bound his 1 HP to a massive 9,000 HP reserve. His power confirmed, the strongest player declared he would no longer hold back and filled his summon space with spectral fire. With his skills maximized, the Necromancer turned his attention to his exclusive artifact, the Locked Book of Death. The forbidden talent transformed the item into the powerful Death Scripture, instantly boosting his spell power by 15 points. The Death Sovereign decided to hold the forbidden talent in reserve, declaring the level grinding officially open. White Knight immediately plunged into the kill zone, commanding his legion to engage the first wave of Razorclaw Cat demons. The Necromancer focused his spirit, aiming to fill his entire 20-slot summon limit instantly. Thanks to the Cataclysm trait, his summoning cooldown was reduced to a mere 2 seconds, allowing him to rapidly overwhelm the battlefield. The enhanced Spectral Legions tore through the level 3 monsters, securing massive experience bonuses from the level gap. In a flash of light, the strongest player of the Divine Dragon Empire reached level 2, gaining 15 free attribute points. The villain smiled, reveling in the satisfying speed of his brutal ascent. Allocating all new points to Spirit, White Knight roared a command for his Skeleton Legion to continue the relentless grind. Half an hour later, the Death Sovereign arrived at his destination, the swirling, dangerous entrance to the first dungeon, the Mist Forest. Ignoring the system's warning about the crisis-filled dungeon, the Necromancer confirmed his entry, backed by his powerful spectral lackeys. The system immediately presented the difficulty options, ranging from normal to the ultimate challenge, Hell. The vengeful gamer didn't hesitate, his choice echoing the depth of his ambition, Hell level. The swirling red vortex confirmed the selection, preparing to swallow the Death Sovereign into the most dangerous version of the Mist Forest. Stepping inside, the Necromancer was immediately enveloped by a suffocating, vision-blocking mist. But the Spectral Legion was his eyes and ears. He commanded them to advance and clear the path. Fortunately, the Death Sovereign's mastery allowed him to freely control his summons within a 100-meter radius, negating the forest's disorientation. The first true threat emerged from the gloom, a massive level 8 elite mist treant. The dark figure grinned, welcoming the challenge and the experience points this powerful monster promised. Ordering his lackeys to attack together, White Knight watched as the treant retaliated with the binding skill, Entangle. The powerful vines immediately wrapped around one of the spectral warriors, shattering it instantly. Despite the treant's power, the Necromancer's overwhelming legions focused their attack. The strongest player of the Divine Dragon Empire secured the kill, confirming the Hell difficulty provided excellent experience points. But the forest was far from cleared. A massive level 8 mist tree python emerged from the shadows, ready to strike. The serpent attempted a swift sneak attack, but the Necromancer was already counterattacking with a charged spectral skull. The dark figure mocked the creature, promising to roast it alive as he prepared his spell. The initial magic strike landed, dealing 100 points of damage to the durable python. Instantly, the Death Sovereign's Cataclysm trait activated, summoning a full legion of flaming spectral warriors. The level 8 elite mist tree python was swiftly overwhelmed by the spectral onslaught, yielding another hefty cross-level experience bonus. The former gamer realized that even his tripled spirit stat couldn't match the raw damage output of his amplified skeleton minions. As a reward for the flawless victory, the elite monster dropped a valuable piece of gear, the Python belt. The Death Sovereign assessed the Python belt, deciding to hold onto the leather armor for its eventual market value. The vengeful player immediately commanded his spectral legions to advance further into the Mist Forest. The Hell-level challenge immediately presented itself, with monstrous treants and massive pythons closing in. Recognizing the density of targets, the Necromancer activated his Cataclysm trait, summoning even more spectral warriors for the harvest. His boosted spectral legions instantly engaged the nearest level 8 elite treant. Simultaneously, other spectral warriors focused their relentless assault on the giant python. The sheer volume of the Cataclysm-doubled legions guaranteed overwhelming force against the elite duo. The overwhelming slaughter triggered a massive experience gain, and the Death Sovereign instantly reached level 5. Elsewhere in the game, a different player celebrated his own triumphant level up. Back in the Mist Forest, the former gamer collected the resulting loot, noting the usable wand and several skill books ready for future promotion. The Death Sovereign checked his boosted level 5 attributes, noting the weak wooden wand would soon need replacing. Unexpectedly, his class-exclusive artifact, the Death Codex, began to glow, leveling up with the player. The artifact granted a significant boost, plus 75 spell power and a 100% damage increase against undead creatures. Equipped with his enhanced artifact, the Necromancer declared his legions ready for the final challenge. With a determined step, the strongest player of the Divine Dragon Empire plunged toward the heart of the Hell-level zone. The path opened to reveal the dungeon boss, a massive silver-rank Mist Python King and its 2 elite reinforcements. This formidable level 8 boss possessed over 80,000 HP, guarded by 2 reinforced elites of similar level. White Knight paused only briefly to assess the overwhelming odds before deciding to test the limits of his amplified summons. The Death Sovereign gave the command, and his spectral legions instantly surged forward in a blazing charge. The initial clash began as the amplified minions engaged the 2 Mist Python guards with overwhelming force. White Knight registered the insane attack power of the enemy, confirming the danger of this Hell-level challenge as a minion was instantly consumed. The Death Sovereign remained unfazed, confident that sheer numbers would overcome the enemy's raw power. The command to hack it to pieces echoed as the spectral legions focused their amplified damage output. The overwhelming assault proved successful, instantly dropping both level 8 reinforced elite guards. White Knight, energized by the swift victory, commanded his spectral army to focus fire on the massive boss. The Death Sovereign's legions immediately shifted targets, slamming the Mist Python King with explosive force. The colossal boss retaliated with a furious, wide-mouthed strike, attempting to clear the swarm. But the Necromancer was stunned, realizing his raw spell damage against the high-defense boss was shockingly pathetic. Undeterred, the spectral horde maintained their siege, swarming the massive coiled body of the Python King. The level 8 boss responded by violently thrashing its body, attempting to crush the surrounding spectral forces. The Python King's sheer power instantly consumed the spectral forces, yet White Knight commanded them to hold the line. The silver rank boss thrashed violently, shattering the spectral forces into explosive blue fragments. The Death Sovereign looked up, sensing the level 8 creature was charging a devastating ultimate ability. Instead of targeting the horde, the monstrous serpent unleashed a massive, venomous projectile aimed directly at the player. The Necromancer realized the boss was smart enough to bypass the spectral shield and strike at the source. The venomous attack washed over him, but the Death Sovereign laughed, protected by the SS rank life sharing binding his 1 HP to a massive reserve. With his defense confirmed, White Knight seized the opportunity, leaping forward with his staff charged for a counterattack. The Necromancer launched his spell, coordinating a final, overwhelming combined assault with his spectral legions. The sheer, relentless pressure proved too great for the boss, and the level 8 silver rank Mist Python King finally collapsed, yielding massive experience. The strongest player of the Divine Dragon Empire stood triumphant, securing the world's first solo kill of a silver rank boss and claiming exclusive rewards. The world announcement immediately broadcast the Death Sovereign's unprecedented achievement across all Novice villages. While ordinary players struggled against common mobs, the shockwaves of his feat caused widespread disbelief and envy. Meanwhile, the powerful guildmaster, Wealthy World, realized the missed opportunity for a global announcement reward. Her companion, Maple Leaf Xiaoxiao, demonstrated his own strength by spearing a charging boar. Even this elite player admitted that the Necromancer's power level was currently beyond his reach. Wealthy World speculated that only an SS-rank talent could explain the speed and magnitude of the strongest player's rise. Her guildmates, Ah Wei and Cotton Candy, wondered if such an overwhelmingly powerful player would ever agree to an invitation. The confident guild master smirked, believing her charm and influence were irresistible. Back in the Mist Forest, the immediate consequence of the announcement was a sudden, overwhelming flood of friend requests. The vengeful White Knight, focused only on his path of retribution, simply decided to reject them all. The rewards from the boss kill included several basic life soul stones, an item that could increase his lifespan by 30 days each. For the Death Sovereign burdened by a 1-year limit, this was the ultimate treasure. He immediately chose to promote them. Using his S-rank talent, the stone successfully promoted, quadrupling its effect and granting him 120 days of precious life extension. Next, White Knight assessed the rest of the silver rank loot, finding 2 skill books and several pieces of equipment unsuitable for a necromancer. Only the poison ring seemed remotely useful, so the vengeful player decided to promote it as well. The promotion succeeded, transforming the accessory into the gold-grade venomous ring, adding crucial spell power and a passive poison effect. Observing the high casualty rate among his basic summons, the necromancer realized his spectral legion needed a serious upgrade. With the gold coins earned from the boss, he opened the system interface, preparing to sublimate his core summon skeleton skill. The cost was steep, 5 gold coins, but the Death Sovereign knew that power was priceless, confirming the expensive upgrade. The skill transformed, sublimating the F-rank small skeleton into the D-rank skeleton soldier, drastically enhancing his spectral army. The 5 gold coins were instantly justified as the necromancer summoned his first specialized unit, a skeleton archer. These D-rank spectral soldiers boasted drastically enhanced stats, armed with powerful E-rank combat skills like double shot and heavy strike. Satisfied, the Death Sovereign declared his Scourge army finally looked the part and ordered his minions to explore the forest. He watched his enhanced spectral legion charge into the dark, purple-tinged forest, ready for their first true test. Immediately, the Death Sovereign encountered level 8 elite goblins and commanded his ranged units to focus fire. The skeleton archer's enhanced double shot skill instantly slammed 2 arrows into the target's skull. While the ranged units softened the enemy, the armored skeleton warriors moved in for the brutal melee finish. The swift kill granted the necromancer a massive EXP bonus, prompting him to seek out a higher-level farming area. Meanwhile, back in the starting town, ordinary players struggled, desperately shouting recruitment calls for A-rank talents and healers. Ambitious but naive players attempted to establish guilds, unaware that the true strongest player of the Divine Dragon Empire worked alone. While the Death Sovereign farmed, other players celebrated minor victories, like this S-rank, born leader talent promising massive guild bonuses. The player reveled in his sudden popularity, unaware that true power operates far outside the novice village. Suddenly, a loud system alert silenced the crowd, signaling a server-wide pinned message. The message displayed Wealthy World's public plea, begging the mysterious White Knight to accept his friend request for important matters. Ordinary players gasped, realizing the guild master had spent 10 gold coins just to send a single message to the world's strongest player. The necromancer, seeing the exorbitant cost, decided this Wealthy World was worth meeting, and accepted the request. Immediately, Wealthy World offered a staggering 100 gold coins and full coverage for White Knight to join his team. The vengeful player paused, typing out his skeptical questions. Why so much money and why should he trust this stranger? Wealthy World replied, casually revealing the source of his endless funds, the SSS rank exclusive talent skill, God of Wealth. This talent was truly heaven-defying, allowing the user to generate hundreds of gold coins daily and guaranteeing no loss upon death. Wealthy World calculated the risks, acknowledging that teaming up with the necromancer would be troublesome and expose his identity. Despite the massive financial incentive, the Death Sovereign firmly declined, stating his preference to act alone in the early stages. Maple Leaf Xiaoxiao bristled with indignation, enraged that anyone would dare refuse their guild master's generous offer. His teammates lamented the missed opportunity, realizing that without White Knight's potential loot, their equipment progression would stall. Just as they resigned themselves to the grind, the elite player noticed a new message from the mysterious White Knight. The vengeful player proposed a trade, offering equipment and skill books that the guild would desperately need. Wealthy World's companion eagerly accepted the deal, while White Knight promised to notify them once his current business was concluded. The guild members rejoiced, anticipating a significant boost to their grinding speed once they acquired the Necromancer's powerful. Suddenly, a level 5 bronze grade wild boar leader spawned nearby, immediately catching the attention of the adventurers. Maple Leaf questioned Zituan's ability to solo the bronze boss, but the stalwart defender confidently prepared to engage the massive creature. Zituan, the stalwart defender, quickly reorganized the party, ensuring Maple Leaf had all the resources for the solo kill. The guild master's companions watched intently as Maple Leaf prepared to engage the bronze grade boss. Maple Leaf charged forward, a blur of motion and light, determined to secure the kill and the system announcement. The elite player landed a powerful strike, dealing nearly 1,000 damage to the massive wild boar leader. He pressed the advantage, utilizing his high combat skill to overwhelm the creature. But the bronze boss retaliated fiercely, swinging its spiked club in a wide, devastating arc. The defender narrowly dodged the blow, noting the enemy was strong but simply not fast enough. Wealthy World smiled, confident that Maple Leaf's rich experience would easily secure this victory. Meanwhile, far from the guild's minor skirmish, the vengeful Necromancer secured the world's second major solo kill, a level 8 silver grade goblin leader. The Death Sovereign leveled up to 6, gaining a massive haul of loot, though he found the tedious task of picking it all up quite tiring. White Knight inspected the loot, dismissing the gold grade mist cloak for its appearance despite its useful aggro-reducing effect. More importantly, the Necromancer found the leader's emblem, a gold grade accessory offering crucial spell critical chance and mana. Equipping the new gear, the Death Sovereign marched forward, his newly sublimated skeleton soldiers leading the charge into the dense forest. Suddenly, the massive skeleton soldier took unexpected damage, causing the former gamer to realize they had entered a dangerous territory. From the shadowed depths, a booming voice challenged the intrusion, demanding to know how a mere bunch of bones dared enter this king's domain. The system immediately confirmed a hidden plot triggered. White Knight's spectral army had enraged the Goblin King, sealing the exit and forcing a 2-minute kill deadline. Surrounded by his enhanced legion, the dark figure accepted the sudden challenge, eager to test the limits of his promotion talent. The enraged Goblin King, Ragu, burst from the trees, smashing the ground and declaring war on the trespasser. This was no ordinary foe. The level 8 gold grade boss was in a berserk state, its attributes boosted by 50%. The Necromancer calculated the odds. Killing a 300,000 HP gold boss in 2 minutes would demand absolute perfection. Ignoring the boss's taunts, White Knight unleashed his newly sublimated skeleton soldiers, forcing the charge. The spectral legions swarmed Ragu, landing critical blows, but the sheer size of the gold boss's HP pool barely registered the damage. The furious Goblin King, disgusted by the undead scent, channeled a massive crimson power strike. The berserk strike slammed down, instantly shattering the front line of the Death Sovereign's army. The Necromancer's eyes narrowed, acknowledging that this level of raw power would instantly kill any other level 5 player. "Too bad you ran into me," he mused, as blue spectral energy erupted around the vengeful player. Ragu roared in surprise, realizing the ant was sneaking up on him with a powerful, concentrated spell. Meanwhile, the ranged skeleton soldiers, now enhanced by the promotion talent, focused their fire, dealing significantly higher damage. White Knight smiled darkly, urging his forces to maintain the concentrated fire, confident they could blast the boss apart. But the enraged King Ragu would not fall easily, summoning his own racial warriors to shatter the Necromancer's filthy bones. The boss's summoned warriors were level 8 reinforced elites, entering a madness state that boosted their attributes by 50%. King Ragu roared, unleashing a wave of enraged goblin warriors, determined to overwhelm the Necromancer's position. The Death Sovereign realized the fight was escalating quickly, acknowledging the tricky situation presented by the berserk mobs. Ignoring the boss's taunts about hiding his clansmen, White Knight watched as his enhanced skeleton soldiers immediately engaged the reinforced elite goblins. The enraged Goblin King, desperate to escape, focused his fury entirely on the player who dared to hunt him. With a mighty leap, the massive King Ragu descended from above, aiming to crush the Death Sovereign beneath his weight. The earth shattered beneath the impact, sending a devastating shockwave across the battlefield. White Knight narrowly evaded the direct hit, relying on his SS rank life sharing to absorb the residual damage. The vengeful player's eyes narrowed, refusing to be intimidated by the power of the level 8 boss. Immediately, the Death Sovereign used his 2-second cooldown to summon fresh skeleton soldiers and commanded them to eliminate the smaller threats first. Elsewhere, the chaos of the novice villages raged as players struggled against powerful monsters. Guildmaster Zituan, a powerful defender, rallied his forces against a massive green foe. The massive Goblin King roared in pain as Zituan's coordinated assault landed a direct hit. Enraged by the damage, the boss refused to yield to the mere mortals. Driven by pride, the Goblin King entered a deadly berserk state, sacrificing defense for raw power. Zituan scoffed at the king's desperate move, already channeling his own powerful ability. Just as he prepared to launch his attack, a global announcement confirmed that the world's first bronze boss kill had been claimed by Maple Leaf Xiaoxiao. Ignoring the distraction, the guild master unleashed a devastating strike, tearing through the boss's temporary defenses. Hammered by the relentless assault, the Goblin King stumbled and crashed to the ground. With a final, agonizing cry, the mighty boss was vanquished, leaving Zituan victorious in the field. The Death Sovereign smiled as the system confirmed his latest victory, reaching level 7 and acquiring 12 basic life soul stones from the gold grade boss kill. But the Necromancer frowned, realizing the powerful boss had yielded no physical equipment drops. White Knight surveyed the massive corpse of the Goblin King Ragu, wondering if the lack of loot was tied to a hidden game plot. Meanwhile, Guildmaster Zituan celebrated his own recent victory, boasting about the lifespan-increasing treasure he secured. His eager companions dismissed the mysterious player's fame, urging the Guildmaster to push further and claim another gold boss immediately. Before they could move, a new global announcement shattered their confidence, confirming White Knight's unprecedented solo kill of a gold-grade boss. Zituan gripped the life soul stone, his expression hardening as he furiously questioned the true nature of White Knight's awakened talent. Across the map, Guildmaster Wealthy World and Maple Leaf Xiaoxiao also registered the news, acknowledging the terrifying strength of the Death Sovereign. The elite player Maple Leaf Xiaoxiao reassured her guild master that the game had just begun, promising they would eventually overtake him. Wealthy World nodded, deciding to ignore the distraction and focus their efforts on clearing the first major dungeon. White Knight called forth his upgraded skeleton soldiers, immediately triggering the hidden plot and escalating the dungeon to disaster grade. The immense power of the Necromancer forced the spirit of the fallen Goblin King to manifest. Confused, the player watched as the ghostly energy flowed past him, signaling an unforeseen consequence. He was momentarily pulled into a vision of the goblins' past, showing them toiling in the mines. The tragic fate of the creatures was revealed, imprisoned and consumed by flames. The Death Sovereign realized the goblin's spirit was the original form of his very first F-rank skeleton summon. The headless specter floated away, confirming that his spectral army was forged from the area's victims. The vengeful Necromancer processed this crucial insight into the mechanics of his Death Sovereign class. Suddenly, a massive glowing blue form materialized, radiating immense power. The hidden plot had resurrected the level 10 dark gold grade skeleton King Ragu, a terrifying masterpiece of ancient spectral warfare. The terrifying skeleton King Ragu declared his dominion over the fate of the living. Immediately, the dark gold boss began raising his spectral army, commanding them to fight. A massive, ominous blade of pure spectral energy solidified in the king's grasp. The sheer presence of this level 10 monstrosity terrified the surrounding novice players. Channeling immense power, the spectral figure raised his weapon, ready to strike. Unlike White Knight's basic minions, Ragu's summons were level 10 elite warriors, mages, and archers. The Necromancer realized these 6 elites matched the combined strength of his entire current legion. For the ordinary players, this hidden plot was an impossible challenge with overwhelming damage output. The system confirmed the nightmare scenario, disabling novice protection and imposing a terrifying 10% lifespan penalty upon death. The first devastating heavy strike landed, confirming the Dark Gold King's ability to instantly wipe out any player in the vicinity. The terrifying attack confirmed the king's overwhelming power, instantly wiping out the surrounding players. The Death Sovereign commanded his basic skeleton soldiers to focus fire, knowing they were inadequate for the fight ahead. Even with 20 enhanced summons, the Necromancer realized the Dark Gold King's defense was simply too high to penetrate. To survive this impossible fight, White Knight decided he must risk his precious lifespan and attempt another Cataclysm promotion on his core skill. He immediately consumed the intermediate life soul stones, extending his life just enough to endure the promotion cost. The system offered 3 specialized branches for the skeleton soldier, and the pragmatic player chose the durable skeleton warrior. 5 years of his limited life vanished, but the resulting C-rank skill received a terrifying mutation bonus, boosting its HP by 500%. Empowered by the forbidden talent, White Knight laughed, ready to see who truly commanded the strongest legions. The new skeleton warrior manifested, boasting nearly 70,000 HP and heroic attributes, ready to withstand the king's assault. The spectral legion immediately engaged the king, and the enhanced warrior struck back, dealing devastating damage for the first time. The Death Sovereign's enhanced legion unleashed a devastating barrage, tearing huge chunks of HP from the king. Unfazed, White Knight laughed, using his Cataclysm trait to instantly summon 2 more spectral soldiers into the fray. Pushed to the brink, the Skeleton King entered a berserk state, drastically increasing his power at the cost of his defenses. The Necromancer smiled, seeing the opening, and commanded his entire army to focus their final lethal assault. The king collapsed, unwilling to accept defeat, and White Knight immediately rocketed to level 9 from the immense experience gain. The world's first solo Dark Gold kill was secured, rewarding the Death Sovereign with a staggering 40 intermediate life soul stones. Following this, the first clear of the standard Mist Forest dungeon also registered, granting bonus attribute gems. White Knight grinned, realizing the promoted stones would grant him over 13 years of life, but noticed the system listed the clear as Hell level. He paused, confused, as the difficulty he had chosen was the exclusive Disaster level, not the standard Hell setting. Meanwhile, outside the Mist Forest entrance, other players were already forming guilds to attempt the newly cleared dungeon. As the news spread, the Mist Forest entrance became a hub of activity, with guilds rapidly recruiting fresh blood. But the atmosphere shifted when the elite forces of the famous guild master Wealthy World arrived, decked out in full gear. The powerful defender paused, realizing his presence was drawing immediate attention. Nearby, another powerhouse team led by Guild Master Hangtu showcased their own extravagant level 5 equipment. Wealthy World approached Hangtu, exchanging polite but competitive words about their respective fame. Recognizing the rivalry, the Guild Master proposed a high-stakes competition right then and there. The challenge was simple, a race for the world's first clear of the Mist Forest dungeon. If he won, Hangtu's entire team would be absorbed into his formidable hegemony guild. If she won, the Guild Master offered one massive favor from his organization. Hangtu, however, was not satisfied with a single favor, demanding 3 services in exchange for her team's participation. Wealthy World, the Guild Master, laughed heartily and immediately agreed to the 3-favor deal. Before the race could even begin, Hangtu and Zichuan were struck by a sudden, shocking system announcement. The Guild Master cursed White Knight's name, realizing the Death Sovereign had already claimed the normal difficulty first clear. But the announcements kept coming, confirming White Knight's world first clear of the Hell-level Mist Forest dungeon. The Divine Dragon Empire player was further congratulated for solo clearing a disaster-level dungeon, shocking the entire Blue Star zone. Zichuan, a powerful defender, clenched his jaw, finding the Necromancer's unprecedented dominance absolutely outrageous. With the original bet ruined, Wealthy World ordered his team to rush toward the dungeon entrance immediately. Hangtu, however, remained composed, telling her team there was no rush since the first clear was already claimed. Meanwhile, another elite player was already deep inside the Mist Forest, fighting a massive goblin king on the Hell difficulty. This challenger desperately sought the second clear, unaware that the true threat, White Knight, had already moved far beyond their current limits. The challenger fighting the Goblin King struggled, distracted by the global announcement about White Knight's unknown S-rank talent. Meanwhile, in Novice Village 9526, the betrayers Zhao Su and Liu Ruyan noticed the name, finding it eerily familiar. Zhao Su, the former classmate, teased Ruyan about her past admirers, unaware of the gravity of the name. The betrayer complained that the game ruined his plans for immediate wealth, while his partner felt a growing unease about the player's identity. The fiancé suddenly remembered. The name was the same one Su Mubai, the man they murdered, always used in games. The realization hit them like a spectral blow. White Knight could be the vengeful spirit of Su Mubai. Zhao Su immediately rejected the possibility, confident that the original gamer was dead and buried by his own hand. However, the greedy schemer quickly devised a backup plan, use Ruyan's charm to manipulate the powerful player once more. The treacherous woman agreed, believing her seductive power was enough to control anyone, even the strongest player in the Divine Dragon Empire. Unaware of the plotting, the Death Sovereign had already moved far beyond the Novice village, securing the world's first solo clear of a disaster-level dungeon. The Death Sovereign immediately opened his backpack to examine the spoils of his victory. First, he needed to replenish his resources using the siphon skill to absorb death energy from the fall. This energy was crucial for the feedback skill, allowing him to instantly restore power or enhance his spectral legions. Recognizing the potential, the Necromancer risked a free promotion, confirming the upgrade to SS rank Death Siphon Feedback. With the skill secured, White Knight tested it immediately, successfully siphoning 320 death energy from the Skeleton King's corpse. The sheer volume of spectral power surged into him, quickly pushing his stored death energy to its maximum limit. He realized that fighting undead creatures provided a richer source of energy for his dark arsenal. Next, he uncovered a massive reward, the Whisper of the Dead Robe, an unidentified epic grade item. The vengeful player paused, a smirk playing on his lips as he considered his next move. Deciding to cash in, White Knight planned to package the remaining loot and sell it directly to Guildmaster Wealthy World. The Death Sovereign's eyes burned with anticipation, confirming the sheer magnitude of the Mist Python King's drop. Among the gold equipment and attribute gems, the most critical finds were 3 C-rank skill books for different skeleton types. The system immediately offered a powerful fusion, combining the 3 books into a single advanced summoning skill. White Knight accepted the prompt, instantly learning the new C-rank skill, Summon Advanced Skeleton. The vengeful player wasted no time, opening the promotion menu to evaluate the cost of ascending the skill further. Opting for a quick boost, he promoted the skill to B rank, though the resulting mana consumption was alarmingly high. Next, the Necromancer examined the final unique item, a mysterious glowing blue orb known as Hale's Crystal Ball. This artifact offered an epic-grade quest, but the player wondered if his forbidden talent could enhance the reward. With a decisive command, the promotion talent transformed the quest into the legendary grade Dylan's Sorrow, which the Death Sovereign immediately accepted. The immediate stat bonuses were staggering, granting the strongest player of the Divine Dragon Empire a massive boost to his spell critical chance. Meanwhile, Guildmaster Wealthy World celebrated his own massive harvest, holding a glowing artifact of immense power. Having secured his power, the Death Sovereign decided it was time to meet the Guildmaster who had been relentlessly pursuing him. Wealthy World and his elite party waited patiently outside the dungeon, delaying their entry for the strongest player of the Divine Dragon Empire. As White Knight stepped out of the portal, the Guildmaster's party immediately greeted him with enthusiastic welcome. The former gamer, still acclimating to his new status, wondered if this immediate attention meant an easy transaction. Maple Leaf Xiaoxiao tried to hurry the trade, but the Necromancer insisted on conducting the business right there. Without warning, White Knight summoned 2 gigantic spectral claws, instantly freezing the surrounding air and shocking the onlookers. Stunned by the sheer power display, the guild members realized they were dealing with a player far beyond their current understanding. White Knight confidently dismissed their concerns about the sheer volume of the transaction, assuring them he could handle it all. With a final flourish, the enormous, shadowy corpse of the Mist Python King materialized, shocking the entire waiting party. The massive loot pile instantly stunned the onlookers, who realized the Death Sovereign had brought an unprecedented haul of D-rank skill books and equipment. Maple Leaf Xiaoxiao, eager to secure the goods, confidently agreed to the initial price and began counting the required gold. The vengeful player accepted the heavy sack of coins, completing the first stage of the massive trade. The Necromancer smiled, hinting that the truly valuable items from the boss kill were yet to be revealed. White Knight then revealed the gold-grade equipment and a C-rank skill book, sending the entire guild into open-mouthed shock. Realizing her current funds were insufficient, Maple Leaf Xiaoxiao proposed a system contract to guarantee payment for the remaining balance the following day. The Death Sovereign agreed to the contract but set a staggering price of 500 gold coins for the last, most crucial skill book. This ultimate item was the legendary priest skill, Resurrection, instantly causing the guild's healer to gasp in disbelief. With the deal struck for the massive haul, the 2 players shook hands, cementing the agreement for the delayed payment. White Knight internally noted her confidence, deducing that her ability to guarantee such a massive sum was tied to her unique god of wealth talent. The confident Maple Leaf Xiaoxiao then proposed a new arrangement, guaranteeing the Death Sovereign the first clear of the nightmare and hell difficulty mist forest. Her condition was steep, demanding all the life soul stones from the future clears, plus the ones the Necromancer currently held. The deal was instantly struck, cementing a partnership focused entirely on maximizing the player's limited lifespan. The strongest player of the Divine Dragon Empire was back to grinding, rapidly stacking experience points from level 10 elite monsters. Unbothered by the risk of his 1 HP, the vengeful player paused only to confirm that his leveling speed remained undiminished. Reaching level 9, the Necromancer immediately allocated his new attribute points, wondering where the Appraiser NPC had gone. The powerful player ran across the grasslands, annoyed that the Appraiser who should be identifying gear was nowhere to be found. A sudden system notification flashed, confirming his skeleton champion was instantly killed, though the Cataclysm trait immediately triggered a full resurrection. Realizing the immense power needed to one-shot his 150k HP summon, the Death Sovereign deduced the Appraiser NPC must be incredibly strong. Despite the danger, the player continued his search, annoyed that the NPC preferred sketching on the prairie over doing his job. The powerful Appraiser Huajian was startled by the sudden appearance of the Death Sovereign's resurrected skeletal legion. The Necromancer realized the magnitude of the threat, noting that even his 150k HP summon was instantly obliterated. Huajian finally turned his attention to the player, casually commenting on the sheer number of bones summoned. White Knight confirmed the NPC's identity and terrifying power, recognizing the speed of the attack that exceeded all expectations. The eccentric painter demanded compensation for ruining his artistic mood, prompting the Death Sovereign to nervously offer gold. Huajian dismissed the offer, making it clear that a being of his stature had no need for mere currency. Instead, the NPC offered a bizarre trade, 100 gold coins for one of his masterpieces, claiming it was a lucky chance for the player. The Death Sovereign paid the exorbitant fee, only to find the masterpiece was a crude scribble that a child could draw better. As White Knight internally criticized the art, the Appraiser's aura turned sinister, forcing the vengeful player to immediately grovel and apologize. Appeased by the sudden submission, Huajian surprisingly offered a free appraisal, a major win that brought a relieved smile to the Death Sovereign's face. The moment of relief was fleeting as the appraisal began. The Appraiser Huajian immediately began the process, grumbling that 4 appraisals for 100 gold was a huge loss. White Knight watched as the stats of his 4 dark gold items, including the bone armor and greatsword, were fully revealed. Satisfied, Huajian tried to dismiss the Death Sovereign, reminding him that 1 appraisal usually cost 100 gold. The volatile NPC immediately regretted his generosity, demanding to know if the Necromancer had more dark gold gear. Grinning, White Knight pulled out a new prize, the epic-grade Whisper of the Dead Robe. But Huajian abruptly turned and walked away, claiming his skill was too low to appraise an epic item. The part-time novice appraiser pointed out that being unable to handle epic gear in a starting village was perfectly reasonable. Suddenly, Huajian offered a new proposition, teaching the Death Sovereign the appraisal skill itself. However, this valuable knowledge would require tuition, prompting the calculating player to ask the price. The appraiser Huajian named his price, 500. But the currency demanded was not standard gold, but ancient gold coins, a rare collector's item. The Death Sovereign realized this was no obstacle. His promotion talent could instantly transform regular currency into the ancient version. Huajian, unaware of the Necromancer's unique ability, assigned the collection quest and prepared to depart. He paused, surprised that the young player was attempting to stop him. White Knight simply presented a heavy sack, asking the bewildered appraiser what he thought it contained. Huajian's shock was absolute upon seeing the massive pile of ancient coins already gathered. The calculating player, having fulfilled the demand instantly, pressed the advantage. "Can you teach me appraisal now?" Laughing at the unexpected speed, Huajian acknowledged the Necromancer's resourcefulness and handed over the basic appraisal skill book. White Knight gained the valuable secondary skill, only for Huajian to immediately issue a new, far grander challenge, collecting 10,000 more ancient gold coins. The Death Sovereign accepted the massive challenge, confident his promotion talent could overcome any obstacle. Basic appraisal was insufficient for the Necromancer's needs, prompting an instant promotion to intermediate appraisal. The new secondary profession was secured, dramatically increasing his ability to identify rare items. White Knight immediately attempted to appraise the rare, unidentified cloak he had acquired earlier. However, the attempt failed, reminding the Death Sovereign that even with high power, luck still played a role. Refusing to accept defeat, the determined player relentlessly spammed the appraisal skill. After burning through his mana reserves, the Necromancer was forced to concede defeat for the moment. Suddenly, a system notification flashed, alerting him to the presence of a wild treasure chest nearby. Hoping for high-level loot, the strongest player of the Divine Dragon Empire quickly moved toward the chest's location. Upon arrival, he found the treasure chest fiercely protected by a surrounding pack of gray wolves. The Death Sovereign grinned, confirming the chest was exactly where the system promised. Wasting no time, White Knight commanded his newly sublimated spectral army to engage. The upgraded skeleton soldiers, bolstered by the Cataclysm trait, immediately tore through the front line, dealing devastating damage. The sudden, overwhelming power caused the massive Prairie Wolf King to rear up and howl in shock as its pack members fell. But the pack was vast, and the Necromancer found himself surrounded by a seemingly endless tide of gray fur. The strongest player of the Divine Dragon Empire simply laughed, summoning further reinforcements to match the ambush. The Spectral Legions unleashed a brutal counterattack, sending the charging wolves flying through the air. Each blow from the undead warriors landed with crushing force, shattering the defenses of the remaining beasts. Cornered and overwhelmed, the mighty Wolf King finally succumbed to the relentless assault. White Knight stood tall, basking in the light of the level up and the massive experience gained from slaying a silver rank boss. The Death Sovereign immediately hit level 10, earning the far ahead title and a massive stat boost, but his eyes were fixed on the dropped wild treasure chest. The Necromancer smiled, recognizing another opportunity to exploit his S-rank promotion talent. With a flash of forbidden power, the promotion succeeded, transforming the chest into a higher grade. The chest burst open in a blinding light, yielding a guaranteed gold rank reward. Among the loot were a powerful gold rank staff, and more interestingly, a mysterious gold rank treasure map. The map promised a high-value quest, but the coordinates required leaving the Novice village. White Knight realized the level 10 cap meant his time in the starting zone was over, forcing him to move to a major city. Before leaving, the Death Sovereign promoted the map one last time, instantly upgrading it to the rare dark gold rank. Meanwhile, in the Novice village, the Guild Master Zituan stepped out of a portal, armored and ready for action. The crowd cheered as Zituan's guild received a global announcement for the first hard mode dungeon clear, unaware of the solo player who was already far ahead. Guildmaster Zituan, basking in the glory of their hard mode clear, immediately declared they would tackle nightmare mode next. But before they could even move, a new announcement flashed, causing the elite players to gasp in surprise. Another guild had beaten them to the world's first nightmare mode clear, leaving the ambitious guild master furious. Zituan grabbed his informant, demanding to know why the mysterious player Bai Yi was only selling gear to their rivals. Feeling challenged and betrayed by the unseen hand manipulating the market, the guild master swore retribution. As they prepared to move onto Hell mode, the system delivered yet another massive, region-wide announcement. The announcement confirmed the impossible. The Death Sovereign, known simply as Bai Yi, had become the first player in the Blue Star region to reach level 10. The level leaderboard instantly opened, revealing the terrifying gap. Bai Yi stood alone at level 10, 5 levels above the nearest elite players. Unable to tolerate this unprecedented speed, Zituan rushed to the village chief, demanding to bypass the level restriction and leave the Novice village. His stunned guildmates realized the truth. The vengeful Necromancer was leveling at rocket speed, already far beyond their last known trade level. Meanwhile, Maple Leaf Xiaoxiao decided that securing a relationship with the mysterious Necromancer was worth the effort of delivering the promised soul stones. Telling her team she was leaving, the elite player prepared to seek out the Death Sovereign. She quickly located the powerful player, addressing him as Brother Bai Yi in the Novice Village Square. Handing over the 10 basic soul stones from the world's first clear reward, she secured his promise for future transactions. With a firm handshake, the contract was fulfilled, cementing a crucial alliance for the vengeful gamer. Xiaoxiao smiled, confident that investing in the strongest player of the Divine Dragon Empire was the right move. White Knight told her to contact him once she reached level 10, leaving the woman impressed by his foresight. The Necromancer surveyed the busy village, preparing for his next move. He approached a modest building, recognizing it as the location he needed. Meanwhile, the village chief expressed shock that any arriver had already reached level 10, the requirement to leave the starting zone. The Death Sovereign stated his objective clearly. He was ready to leave the novice village. The village chief, recognizing the inevitable rise of the arrivers, agreed to guide the powerful player. He pointed toward a shimmering portal, explaining that the village was the gateway to East Sea City. This destination was one of the Shenlong Empire's 10 Tier 1 main cities and its most prosperous coastal hub. White Knight stepped into the light, acknowledging the chief's help before vanishing into the transfer array. The old man sighed, knowing the Necromancer was just the first wave of true power. Standing outside, the chief mused on the chaotic era of the divine forbidden land that was now rapidly approaching. Meanwhile, the betrayers Zhao Su and Liu Ruyan were running across the plains, recognizing the source of the global announcement. Zhao Su voiced his suspicion, wondering if this formidable Bai Yi could possibly be the man they murdered Su Mu Bai. Liu Ruyan, arrogant and confident, declared that his identity didn't matter. The stronger he was, the sooner he would fall into her grasp. White Knight used his transfer scroll, arriving in the bustling, realistic environment of East Sea City. The Death Sovereign noted the lack of rewards upon leaving the novice village, a minor annoyance to the vengeful player. Suddenly, the artifact he carried glowed. The Death Codex had reached level 10 from the accumulated experience. The artifact's power surged, granting a massive spell power boost, a permanent stat penalty, and the terrifying new ability Soul Drain. As the grimoire opened, the Necromancer absorbed the knowledge, learning the exclusive SSS rank skill, Death Gaze. The sheer power of the skill, which inflicted true damage and extreme agony, caused the 1 HP player intense physical pain. White Knight realized that combining Death Gaze with his Cataclysm trait made the skill utterly broken, capable of instantly killing almost anything he targeted. Before he could process the new power, a towering, cloaked figure materialized, acknowledging the immense potential of the young arriver. The imposing man introduced himself as Sidhu Jai, the Lord of East Sea City, a powerful elder whose level the Death Sovereign could not even perceive.